The Lonely Child by Superfire702. Read by John Baldwin. You know that child in the playground? The one who does not have any friends? To the rest of the children, he is not trendy. He has not got the latest mobile phone or the newest hot-off-the-press sweatshirt or sneakers. He gets mocked and teased, but he does not reply. He is quite happy being on his own, but would like a friend. One day, a child decides to make friends with the lonely child. They become friends, and the lonely child is happy that someone took notice of him. After school that day, the lonely child asks his new friend if he would like to come to his house and play. The child says yes, so the lonely child takes his new friend to his house. His new friend could not believe the size of the mansion that the lonely child lived at. It was beautiful and huge. The lonely child takes his new friend around the mansion. They play on video games. They play basketball outside in the back garden on a full-size court, and there is a swimming pool and a tennis court also in the back garden. They eat together, and the lonely child shares everything he has with his new friend. The new friend is overwhelmed and happy. The next day at school, the lonely child sits on his own. Then his friend sees him and is happy to see him. They play together in the playground and have fun together. The other trendy kids see the lonely child and his new friend playing, and they start pointing and talking about the lonely child's new friend. They start to tease the lonely child's friend and say, "Why are you friends with the lonely child for?" They start to laugh at the lonely child and his friend. For many days this goes on. The lonely child's friend plays with the lonely child and does not care what anyone says. One Saturday, the lonely child and his friend are taken to the mall in a stretched limousine and given money to go and buy what they want. Many of the lonely child's school friends see him and his friend step out of the limo. Their jaws drop to the floor. The lonely child and his friend spends the day at the mall laughing and joking and having fun. When it was time to go home, they went back to the limo. The lonely child's school friends were outside the limo checking out the rims and the solid gold trim of the limo. When they got inside the limousine, the trendy kids knocked on the window and asked if they could come inside. The lonely child said, "I do not know who you are." The trendy kids said, "Yes, you do. We go to your school. We know your name." The lonely child said, "Yes, you know my name, and you teased me and mocked me and my friend, but now you see my father's wealth, you want to be my friend." The trendy kids asked again if they could come inside the limo. The lonely child said, "My father has shut the door and put on the central locking. You cannot come in. You had the chance to know me when you could at school, but you ignored me and teased me and mocked me. My father is not pleased with you all. I was not troubling you. You could have been my friend, but you did not want to be. But now that you see how much I am worth, you want to be my friend. Well, my father said it is too late. Well, my father said it is too late. Well, my father said it is too late. Well, my father said it is too late." The trendy kids were very upset and regretted not being his friend when they had the chance. They regretted not finding out about the lonely child, but instead they mocked him and teased him without getting to know him. Then instantly after the limo drove off, it started raining heavily and started to hail, stone, and thunder. The trendy kids got soaked and drenched in the hailstones and rain. The lonely child and his new friend went back to the mansion and played and laughed and had a great time. The lonely child's friend was an orphan who lived in a care home, so the father of the lonely child adopted his son's friend, and they all lived in the huge mansion. The father treated the orphan child as his own so much that you would have thought that he was his all along. Everything that belonged to the father also belonged to the orphan child. The orphan child gave honor to the father every day and thanked him for what he had done for him. This lonely child is just like Jesus, and his father is God. The orphan child is a person who took out the time to get to know Jesus, and when they became friends, the father blessed his son and his son's friend so much that he adopted him as his own child. In fact, the orphan child did not realize that he was related to the father and the lonely child all along. Acts 17 verses 26 to 31. From one man he made every nation of men, that they should inhabit the whole earth. And he determined the times set for them and the exact places where they should live. God did this so that men would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him, though he is not far from each one of us. For in him we live and move and have our being. As some of your own poets have said, we are his offspring. Therefore, since we are God's offspring, we should not think that the divine being is like gold or silver or stone, an image made by man's design and skill. In the past, God overlooked such ignorance, but now he commands all people everywhere to repent. For he has set a day when he will judge the world with justice by the man he has appointed. He has given proof of this to all men by raising him from the dead. The Trinity kids are people who mock Jesus and the friends of Jesus. But when the glory of Jesus was revealed, that is when the mockers wanted to become a friend of Jesus, but it was too late, as the Father had locked the door shut and no one else could be saved. The rain represents the fire that falls to earth and burns up the mockers and those who refuse Jesus. Everyone who has an ear to hear and eyes to read this should take this message seriously. There's going to be a time when you can no longer call to Jesus to be your friend. Make friends with him now while you can. Once the door is shut, there is nothing you can do. You could recite the Bible from cover to cover, but if you do not know Jesus now, you will remain outside where the fire falls.
Super 5702.